Hello everyone, myself Dr. Manoj Kumar, working as an assistant professor in Department of EC at MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. Today I am here to deliver lecture talk on digital capacitance meter. This is my overview of my presentation. First I will be discussing the basic of capacitance meter. After that I will be taking the classification. Thereafter the construction and working principle of capacitance meter, and finally I will be concluding with application. Basic of capacitance meter. As the name is suggesting, capacitance meter will measure the capacitance value of a capacitor. So first of all, just before going ahead, I will be discussing what do you mean by a capacitor. As we know that capacitor consists of two parallel metal plates, and in between two plates there are one dielectric medium. Okay, so between two parallel metal plate there is one dielectric medium, and the capacitance value C is given as epsilon A divided by D. Epsilon is the permittivity of the medium, permittivity of the dielectric medium. A is the area of cross section, okay, of the plate, and D is the distance between these two parallel plates. So this is basically the construction of a capacitor, and capacitor is always represented by this symbol. Okay, the symbol, in symbol it is shown that there are two parallel plates, and in series one resistor is also shown. Okay, normally we don't use this resistor every time. Okay, the importance of this resistor is that this resistor show the internal resistor of a capacitance. Okay, the internal resistance of a capacitor. So everything in the world got some internal resistance. Okay, so this resistor is also known as ESR, equivalent series resistance of a capacitor. So you always represent a capacitor by a parallel plate, along with that also represent it by one series resistance R. R will represent its internal resistance of a capacitor. So basically capacitance meter will measure the capacitance value of a capacitor. Okay, so in this diagram we can see that this is the capacitor and its capacitance value is being measured by the help of this multimeter. Okay, so we will discuss the circuit diagram of a capacitance meter. Now, what are different methodology of a capacitance meter? See, capacitance meter uses either time constant method or AC bridge method. We all know that capacitor charges and it get discharges depending on the polarity of voltage applied to the capacitor. Okay, so the charging and discharging method is also known as time constant method. And the charging time, suppose capacitor is charging from A to B, in what time the capacitor will charge from A to B, that is given by R into C, the resistor value and the capacitance value. Now T2 is the discharge time period of a capacitor, okay, which is given as a product of resistor and capacitor. So in time constant method, okay, we will take the charging time and discharging time of a capacitor, and based on that value, okay, we are going to calculate the C. Okay, so first we will detect what is the charging time. Okay, resistor value is known, so you can easily calculate the capacitance value of a capacitor. So this is a time constant method based on charging and discharging time of a capacitor. Now next, AC bridge method. Okay, in AC bridge method we can see that there are four arms, AB, BC, CD and AD. Okay, suppose the capacitor whose value is to be measured, we connect across one of the arm. Here it is connected across B and C. See, this is unknown capacitance, and we need to find the value of this unknown capacitance. So how we are going to find the value of this unknown capacitance in the AC bridge method we will discuss in upcoming slides. Okay, so there are basically two methodology for a capacitance meter. First is that use the time constant method. Second is that use AC bridge method. Now, okay, this is basically a capacitance meter based on time constant method. Okay, so in time constant method already we have discussed that we will find the charging time period and discharging time period of a capacitor. Okay, this is charging time period and this is the discharging time period. So in time constant method we will find the charging time and discharging time. After that we will put in the equation to find the value of C. How we will do, we will discuss. So basically first of all we will see the what is the construction of a capacitance meter which is based on time constant method. So it consists of a 555 timer. Okay, 555 timer. It is a basically, okay, IC. 555 timer is a IC, integrated circuit, okay, which is basically used for generating the square wave signal. So it is also known as 555 timer IC. Now this 555 timer IC, we can see that there are 8 pins. Okay, 8 pins. Here we can also see that there are 8 pins. Pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this IC has got 8 pins. Okay. Now how to do connection of this IC in order to make that IC as a capacitance meter. Okay. So first of all you see the construction. Pin 6 and pin 2 are sorted. At pin 2 one unknown capacitance is connected and we need to find the value of this unknown capacitance. Okay, so the capacitance whose value needs to be found, you connect at pin number 2 and between 2 and 7 connect one resistor R2. Between 7 and 8 connect other resistor R1. Okay, and between 3 and 8 connect other resistor R3. So here we can see that this is the basic connection of a 555 timer IC in order to make it as a capacitance meter. Now what are these? See, after that from 3 number pin we are going to take output. Okay, at the output what we will get? You will always get square wave. Always remember the output pin of 555 timer is 3 number pin and from 3 number pin we will get one square wave. This is the property of a 555 timer IC. Okay, so 3 number is the output pin and from the output pin we will get a square wave signal. Correct. Now here we can see that 100 kilohertz clock frequency is there. One gate is there. Okay, this is the digital or logic gate. We will discuss that. Then again one counter. The work of counter is to count the pulses. After that we will display in the digital display. So this is the basic construction of a capacitance meter. So I would like to repeat this. A capacitance meter consists of a 555 timer IC. Okay, suppose you want to find the capacitance value, connect at pin number 2 of 555 timer IC and connect the R2, R1, R3 resistor as shown in the diagram. Okay, and from 3 number pin you will get one output, that is square wave signal. Okay, and from 3 number pin you can see that it is connected to gate also, it is connected to counter also, it is connected to digital display also. So what are the working of this all component we will discuss in the working slide. Now here we can see that this is the 555 timer, already I discussed. From 3 number pin we are going to take the output. At 2 number pin we have connected one unknown capacitance, and we suppose I want to find the value of this unknown capacitance. How we are going to find the value of this unknown capacitance? So first take 100 kilohertz clock frequency. Clock is nothing. Clock is a square wave. Clock means a type of square wave. You can take 10 kilohertz also, 50 kilohertz also, okay. So you take any 100 kilohertz clock frequency, okay. After that, connect that clock frequency to a gate. This gate is nothing but a digital gate, AND gate, NAND gate, NOR gate. It may be any gate as per your design. Then third component is counter. Counter, the work of counter is that it will count the clock pulses. Clock pulses means square wave pulses. After counting, it will display on the digital display. Now how it is working? See, first as you switch on the power supply, switch on power supply. So this capacitor will get charge, okay, through this is the VCC voltage, okay. Suppose I have given 5 volt. So through this power supply, this capacitor will get charge. So this charging time is shown by line AB, okay, and the charging time is given as a by formula 0.693 bracket R1 plus R2 into C, okay. Then what happens? Then after capacitor get fully charged, it will try to discharge through pin number 7. So 7 number pin is the discharging pin of a 555 timer. So after charging, capacitor will try to discharge through pin number 7. So here we can see that time period of discharging, okay, given at 0.693 into R2 into C. So this is charging time, this is discharging time, okay. So total time period of this signal become T1 plus T2, 0.693 R1 plus 2 R2 into C. As you know that frequency is reciprocal of time period. If you do 1 by 2, we will get this much, okay. So we know that frequency, you know, what is the reference frequency? This is 100 kilohertz signal, okay. R1 value we know, R2 value we know. So we can easily find the capacitor value, okay. This is the process of doing the thing. So suppose 100 kilohertz is coming here, okay. The gate will allow this 100 kilohertz signal to pass through the counter. After this counter will count the pulses and it will send to the digital display, okay. And when to count the pulses, when to stop the pulses, it will depend on the charging and discharging period of a capacitor. During charging time, okay, during this charging time, the pulses are being counted, okay, and during the discharging time, the pulses are not counted, okay. So display is reset. So basically during the charging time of capacitor means output is high here, okay. When this is high, then only counter start counting, okay. Once it become low, the counter stop counting, and whatever the counter has counted during the charging time period, it will show on the digital display. So in this way, what is happening? Depending on the charging time period of capacitor, this unknown capacitance, okay, this reference clock is being counted in the forms of number, okay. If capacitance value is very high, so charging time will be very high. So your counter will count more number of pulses and this number will be displayed here. Suppose your capacitance value is very low, so it will count less number, your counter will count less number of pulses and that value will be displayed. So what is happening? The capacitance value is directly calibrated by the counter, okay. Suppose capacitance value is increasing, counter will count more number of pulses. If capacitance value is decreasing, counter will count less value of pulses, and that more and less will be displayed on the digital display. So in this way, the capacitance value can be directly shown on the digital display by the help of number of pulses counted by a counter. And theoretically we can show that if frequency is known, if 100 kilohertz frequency is known, we can, using this formula, we can directly calculate the value of C, because R1 we know, R2 we know, only this Cx, the unknown capacitance, we don't know. By using this formula we can directly calculate the unknown capacitance. Okay, so theoretically we can do like this, but practically what is happening, the counter is counting the pulses, okay, and that the counting pulses are being displayed. So what we are understanding, if suppose capacitance value is large, okay, suppose capacitance value is very large, okay, more number of pulses will be counted. Suppose it counts 10 pulse, okay, if capacitance value is less, so charging time is also less, so less number of pulses are being counted, suppose 5. So if capacitance value is suppose 10 microfarad, okay, suppose 10 microfarad, you are getting 10 value on display, okay. If it is 5 microfarad, so you are getting 5 value on the display. So in this way, the counter is counting the pulses, okay, and it is dependent on the capacitance value. This thing we have to remember, and this counter is the very important part of this capacitance meter, okay. This counter will count the number of pulses, okay, and that value will be displayed, and this counter is directly being controlled by this capacitance value, remember, okay. So if capacitance is more, counter will get more time to count the pulses, and it will count more number of pulses, okay. If capacitance is very less, so it will count less number of pulses. So what we are observing, if capacitance value is high, more number of pulses will be counted and more number will be displayed here. If capacitance value is less, okay, less number will be displayed here. This is the basic working principle of a capacitance meter, which is based on time constant method, okay. So another method we will see, that bridge method, okay. We already seen that in capacitance method, which is based on time constant method, time constant, and this is the bridge method. In time constant, charging discharging of a capacitor, okay, but in bridge meter the working principle is different. Suppose this is Cx, unknown capacitance, okay. So we will see bridge. What do you mean by bridge? First try to understand. A bridge is the circuit arrangement which consists of 4 arms, okay, AB, BC, CD and AD, okay. In electronic instrumentation, bridge always means it will consist of 4 arms, okay, AB, BC, CD and AD. Suppose I want to find the capacitance of this unknown capacitance, I will connect in arm BC. You can connect in arm AB, no problem, okay. You can connect in one of the arm. Suppose I am connecting at BC, okay, Cx. Cx is my unknown capacitance and Rx is its internal resistance of a capacitor. Already I shown in the discussed in the my first slide that a capacitor is already represented by this parallel plate as well as its internal resistance. So I have connected the unknown capacitance and here it is the internal resistance of a capacitor. Now in arm AB connect one resistor, okay. In arm CD connect one known capacitor, okay. This capacitance value I know, okay. And in arm AD connect other capacitor C1, this value also I know, R1, okay, the value is also known. So every value, resist R2, R1, C3, C1, all the value are known except Cx and Rx. So how to find the value of Cx and Rx? We will see. See, bridge method is very simple, okay. Here we can see that some resistor capacitors are connected, okay. This is the, you have to connect the circuit arrangement like this only, and in between B and D arm we can see that one detector is there. What is the role of detector? I will tell. See, suppose this is the voltage source. Suppose this is current I. Current will divided into two part, I1 and I2. And suppose I1 reaches here, and further it divided into I4 and I5. Okay. So in this way current is flowing. First it is flowing from A to B, then it is flowing from B to D and B to C. So current is divided. So what is the role of detector? See, here there is a variable capacitor and this is the variable resistor. Okay, we will vary the capacitance and resistance value so that the current in the detector becomes zero. Okay, so bridge method is based on balancing condition. What do you mean by balancing condition? When the current in the detector becomes zero, that stage is called balancing condition. And how to achieve that balancing condition? By the mean of this variable capacitor and variable resistor. Just change its value, heat and trial, and you just make it zero. When it will become zero, current in the detector circuit will become zero, it will become in the balance condition. Okay, and whenever it become in balance condition, okay, the balance condition formula is that AB by BC always equal to AD by DC. Ratio of this upon ratio of this is equal to ratio of this arm by this arm. This is called balance condition. This is called balance condition. And how it is achieved? When the current in the detector circuit is zero. And how it will become zero? By varying the capacitance and resistance value, we can achieve this balance condition. Okay, so in balance condition, the impedance value of arm AB divided by the impedance value of arm BC is always equal to impedance value of arm AD upon arm DC. This is called balance condition. If you do the balance condition, okay, so we will finally get one equation which is equal to Cx equal to R1 into C3 divided by R2. We already told that R1 is known, C3 is also known, R2 is known. Okay, so in this way we can find Cx. Suppose how to find the internal resistance of a capacitor? R2 is known, C1 is known, C3 is known. So by using these two equations which is derived from this balance impedance condition of a bridge circuit, we can get in this way. So what is the benefit of bridge method? That along with the capacitance value, we are also getting the internal resistance of a capacitor, which was not possible in the time constant method. In time constant method, which already I discussed, we are only able to find the Cx, unknown capacitance. But in time constant method, we are not able to find this Rx. But in bridge method, we can find both the capacitance value also and its internal resistance also. Okay, so in this way, the time constant as well as bridge method works. So what are the features of digital capacitance meter? It can be used for wide measurement range. Okay, it is highly accurate and resolution is also high. Auto ranging, it can adjust the range automatically, and it has also got the data hold and storage capacity. So these are some features of digital capacitance meter. So what we have studied today? What do you mean by digital capacitance meter? Okay, what are different methodology for the capacitance meter? First methodology is time constant method, which is based on charging and discharging time of a capacitor. Second method is that bridge method. Okay, if you know these two methods, you can easily construct and design the digital capacitance meter. Okay, thank you for listening me.